Good evening. Welcome. As you join me, please leave something. Let me know that you're here. Say hello. Like, comment. So that I can know how this is reaching you or how this is helping in some way. Tonight, I'm talking to one or two of you. I'm talking to someone out there who, is going through a phase or about to enter into another phase. And he's expecting that God is going to bless him or her exactly the same way he has done before. He's expecting, looking at how God has been coming through for him, and he's thinking that, expecting that is how God must come through for him. The Lord is saying to you tonight, open your minds, open your mind, open your heart. Don't close up, and think that the same way he has always come through for you is how he must come through for you in this season. The Lord wants someone out there to know that there are ways that are beyond your comprehension through which he can come through for you. So do not limit yourself to how you have known him to come through for you. The Lord is going to come through, but allow him come through for you in the way that he deems fit. Now, I'm going to use Elijah as a good example tonight. There was a time that Elijah in Israel went to meet Ahab, a king, and he told Ahab that, Ahab was a very bad king, an evil one. And he told Ahab, you are going to, that this land, is going to suffer for lack of rain. That was because they were acting contrary to God's word and God's laws. So he said, it's going, this land is not going to have rain for a while. And then, he left, and God told him, go and hide, and told him exactly where to hide. He said, hide at the brook of Cherith. Now, for some of you, it may be that because you spoke the truth somewhere, you were taken away from where you were supposed to be to another place. And so where you have been for a while, it's like it is the raven that has been feeding you. You have had what to eat and what to clothe yourself, but maybe not much more. And the Lord was the one that directed you or that made it happen, so that you are kept away for a while. Now, the raven has been feeding you, bringing you bread and water, giving you enough to eat. That was what they were doing for Elijah. The raven will bring, that raven is a bird, will bring him food in the morning, give him food in the evening. And he was by a brook, so he was seeing water to drink. Now, eventually the water dried up. The same brook that the Lord led him to dried up. And of course, he will be expecting, okay, it has dried up. Let it start running again. Or God should just tell me, go to brook, because it was the one that said, go to brook Cherith. Now he will say, go to brook Kidron, go to brook Araromi, so that he can continue, to get a drink. But that was not the case. So I'm going to bring out certain things tonight that you need to know. Now, Elijah was hiding at that brook. He was staying at that brook and being fed miraculously due to his own doing, as in God, what God sent him to do, what God asked him to do, is what drove him away to bring him to the brook Cherith. No, maybe because of your conviction, that which God placed in your heart, that this is what is right and you must not do otherwise. Because of the action you took based on God's word, is why you were, demoted. Is why you were taken from where you were, which is, in quotes, more lucrative, or where you were and you were a blessing to people more, and you were taken to this place that all there is just your table and chair, and you don't even have the chance to interact with people or to bless people the way you used to bless people. It was what God prompted you to do that brought you here. Or it is the principle of God that you followed that brought you here. So note that. It's not a punishment. it's not a punishment that, but for those of you who have followed God and you have listened to God and you are walking with God and you have been truthful to your heart and to your God, you came lower than you should be, or you are somewhere like stranded you have been there for a while because you followed him. It's not because of any punishment, So because of what you did on behalf of God, you got to where you are, which is a hiding place. Now, another thing point that I want to bring out here is that, you see, Elijah was fed there because he was on the run. He was on the run. Now, on the run, it could be because of anything also. You're on the run, because you are not part of the system. And sometimes God allows you to be on the run because he wants to bring you back to sanitize the system. And so he takes you away for a while, And sometimes he's taking you away because he doesn't want the people to come and find you, because you are the solution to that thing. You are the solution to that thing that has gone amiss, and he doesn't want them to locate you at that particular time. So for a season, you have been outside the system. You have been outside the system for a season. But the Lord, you understand, his hand has been on you, and is the one that has made sure that even though you think what you have been receiving has been small, has not been much, it's just like you're just breaking even. Is the one that has orchestrated that you are getting even that much that you have been getting so far. And so the brook dried up. Now, in case you want to check this in the Bible, it's in 1 Kings 17, Old Testament. Then the brook dried up. You are now saying, Ashebi, it was God that told you to go to the brook. And then you went to the brook. And you were even seeing raven to come and feed you. So that means God was in this. God's hands was there. Yet the brook dried up. Doesn't mean that it is because God that brought you there that it won't dry up. It doesn't mean that it's because the Lord instructed you to go here. He was the one that showed you. It doesn't mean it won't dry up. When he's through with that method, when he's through with that way of bringing your supply, it will dry up. It is also his way of showing you your next. It's his way of prompting you to go to the next. And so what he's saying to you tonight, that don't expect that the next must be a brook, must be the way he did this one. Oh, you are just through one promotion and you're expecting that you're expecting that a promotion is the only way, a promotion on your job is the only way that you can do this again. No. Don't close your mind to anything. Don't close your mind to anything. Look unto God and allow him, because sometimes it is in those places that you least expect that God himself will make sure that he shows up. Then it says the brook also dried, this brook that dried also dried because of the same assignment. It didn't dry by an external force, but you are the one that predicted that there will be no rain. Now, if the brook did not dry, it means rain maybe is still falling somewhere, water is still falling. Now, because you predicted there will be no rain, your brook also dried up. So don't worry. It is all part of an orchestrated theme by God, that which is taking you through might come out glorious, that people may see that indeed God has been with you, that indeed you were right, that you may be proved even before your opposition, that you may be proved right, is why the brook has to dry up. So allow him to do it his way, because, if you open your mind and heart, you won't struggle too much for it to happen the way you have known. You allow him to do it in a new way and his own way, So the rain is yet to fall, yet the brook has dried up. So the next thing that God did was to tell him. Now, here is someone who has been sustained by a brook, and a raven miraculously was bringing him food in the morning and in the evening. Now the brook has dried up, and that's to tell you the raven will no longer come. What is food if there's no water? So the Lord says, move away from the brook where your supply is and go to, you say, okay, maybe go to a king, go to a rich man in the society, go to someone who has it all. But instead, the Lord said, no, go to this widow, or you understand, and go and meet this widow. Now, widow, we're talking of what is at hand right now is that I have a supplier. something has been supplying my needs, and then the supply has dried up, and then I expect you to show me what's the next supply. He says, go and meet a widow. A widow usually does not strike you as a place of supply. A widow does not strike anyone as a place where you will get your needs met. Rather, it's a place you are going to, be meeting needs. So why would, your supply dry out? And God is saying, go and meet a widow. And but Elijah obeyed and went to meet the widow. So in your own case also, I don't know who the widow is. It could be, anyone at all who is, for one reason or the other, shortchanged can be referred to as a widow. It could be a child. It doesn't have to be a woman who has lost her husband. Anyone at all who is shortchanged. And it could be a people who are shortchanged, not just one person. And the Lord, rather than show you a place to go and get your supply, is showing you a place to go and, a place rather to go and supply. A place that looks like my supply is what I need now. I'm just out of a job. I have just been stepped down from something. How to get my supply is what I should be looking at now. Not how, not telling me to go to someone who needs me to supply him or her. But that is God's own way of doing things. And don't be afraid to do as he says. The same way he that is with you in the mountain is the same one that is with you in the valley. He that will give you all the resources you need, in the brook, where there's a brook and all, is the one that will take you to a desert and still, give you the same provision, that you need. So the rain is yet to fall, but, the rain is going to fall, but it's yet to fall. There's just a little gap between this time that the brook has dried up and the time that the rain is going to fall. And the Lord is saying, go to the widow. Go to the widow. Not to the richest man in the town, go to the widow. So if the Lord is going to show you, if the Lord is showing you something to do that looks like it's not a way of being supplied, it doesn't look like somewhere that can give a supply to you or can give answers to that which you are entering into right now, and you are thinking, no, it can't be this, because first let me settle my source of income. First let me settle where the needs will be met, before I do anything else. The Lord is sending you to a widow. Do not resist him. Now, and if he says go to the widow, because the rain won't fall for a while, he says go to the widow. There may be two reasons why he's saying go to the widow. In Elisha's case, now let me explain, two things that I note there. Reasons why he said go to the widow. First, a calamity, you understand? No, first, it is because, the rain won't fall for a while. So he says go to a widow. Go to that widow, and even though the widow doesn't have what it takes to feed you, God has intended that the combination of you and the widow will bring something unique out. The combination of you and the widow. You asking the widow for something, is going to bring out that which the two of you will live on. And so in that story, if you go and read it in the Bible, 1 Kings 17, you'll find out that the widow had only one meal and a cruse of oil or something. And when Elijah was asking for bread, and it's like, I have bread, this is only one meal I have. And, because he first asked for water, and she was going to go and bring the water. This is a time where there was no more rain and everything, so she's a generous woman. And they was going to give him water. And I said, okay, and then when you are coming, bring me food. And I said, this food that is remaining is going to finish. That's all that my son and I have. And I'm just going to prepare it so that we eat and die, because that's the last thing that I have. You see, that's one calamity that was waiting for the widow. It was that he had only one thing, and they were going to starve to death, because there was no rain falling, there was no famine that could go on, there was no, no water and no provision, and Elijah said, immediately Elijah realized this is where I come in. And Elijah said, do not worry, go and make the food for me and then for yourself. Till this rain will fall, this thing will not run dry. And so it was for the widow and for Elijah. So one calamity that he was sent to, the reason why God will send him to the woman rather than, to the widow rather than someone who had all the supplies in the world, is that he had compassion for the widow, and he had a role for the widow, and he knew that the widow needed that intervention at that time. So if God is sending you to where you will be a supplier rather than, meeting that supply that you think he should do the same way he's done before, that he should bring you into a place where you get your supply, but is leading you to a place where you will be the supplier, do not be afraid, because he already knows that the combination of you and that person or that institution or that people that he's sending you to will bring something that will make you never to lack, until the rain will fall. And then it's, second reason is also that there's another double calamity awaiting the widow. In that story we read that we discovered that the widow was at some point the only child that she had. A widow, she didn't have a husband any longer. The only child she had, the only son, was going to fall very ill, and at the point of death. In fact, life left him. But because Elijah was there, because God had gone to position Elijah first to save her from dying of starvation, and then when the son was ill, being a man of God, he was able to wake the man. So at the time you are thinking that God should come through for you to come and feed you, at the time you are thinking God should show you where is it that I am going to get the surplus that I need, at the time you are expecting God to just point to you, this is where your supply will come from, he may point to you, this is where to go, and it looks as if this is where I am going to be drained, not supplied. Do not be afraid. Allow him to meet your needs the way he deems fit. He is the one that knows that where you think is a place to drain you, where you think it's time to, how can I be told to give, when all that I need right now is for God to open a way for me to receive. The Lord said, do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Your combination with that widow in quotes, because it doesn't have to be a man a woman whose husband has died, a place that needs you. That combination of you and that place or that person or the people is going to bring a supply for you and them that will never run dry. So allow God, as I said, to be, to provide in his own way, the way he wants to do it. Thank you very much for watching. Saheed, Oluwafemi, John Victor, thank you for watching, and everyone who's been on. Again, let's meet again tomorrow by 8 p.m. It's been my pleasure. Thank you.